Hello and welcome today. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about embedded Linux. So I started studying embedded Linux recently because a lot of companies ask for it, and there seems to be a high demand. So I thought, well, I might as well start learning it. And once I started getting into the documentation, there it's definitely pretty difficult and has a steep learning curve, but it's definitely quite useful because it's in almost everything. I mean, embedded wise. So, for example, smart TVs, airport check-in kiosks, industrial machine interfaces, security cameras, and this is how I would normally define embedded systems. Any computer that's not your personal laptop or personal computer, but this is also using this, and so for a while I've heard of embedded Linux, and I thought, well, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I have a Raspberry Pi or a Jetson or a device that has Linux, say Ubuntu or Debian, and there's also like ESP32, which is just there's no operating system. It's just like the C++ code. But then I realized, no, embedded Linux means that it's a custom distribution. So it's the Linux kernel, which is like between the hardware and the software. So it's like the first form of firmware, Linux kernel. So Linux actually isn't an operating system; it's a kernel, which is learning all these terminology and stuff. So the Yocto project or embedded Linux, and there's other ones, can basically you make your custom Linux distribution for your device, for your target device, for your use case. So if I make, I don't know, 1,000, say I make like a device that has a screen and has this, it needs to be embedded, and I monitor remote sensors using lidar, for example, and it has a sort of like ecosystem, and it's all controlled, and I can see this from here. And I want to make 1,000 of them. I can make this and I want to make this using. You can use other things, of course, but like you want to use embedded Linux, you can create your custom distribution. So yours is like, oh, Corey's device, and so it'd be like Corey's device Linux distribution for this thing, and then you can make. So once it's built, then you can just flash that image to your 1,000 devices you want to make, and that's like the power of this software, or this idea, is this embedded Linux, and so it's not just an embedded device with a Linux operating system on it like Ubuntu. And yeah, so and there's other ones. So there's the main industry standard is Yocto Project, which is tied with OpenEmbedded. And they each have there's an OpenEmbedded repo and a Yocto Project repo, and they both have different layers and build tools that you need to use together to build this system. So there's like Pokey, which is on Yocto project side, and then BitBake is used to build it, and I'm pretty sure that's on the OpenEmbedded side of things. And there are other ones. One is called the other embedded Linux build tools. One is called Build Root, and I got it working a little bit easier than the Yocto project one. It seems to be. It's one of those, like, they're both good, used for different things, and pick what you need to use. And so that's good. And I think there's more, but it's kind of hard to tell which if it's like if they're built on top of each other, or it's a whole other different embedded Linux tool. Because there's, for example, there's tons, right? There's one auto grade embedded Linux. Is that what it's called? Auto grade Linux. So it's making custom Linux distros for automotive industry, for automotive use cases like infotainment systems, and I'm pretty sure it's built on top of this Yocto project. It's all open, so it's not like a competitor, it's just like using the same technology, but in the automotive industry, and then have their own AGL, automotive grade Linux brand onto it. And yeah, so that's kind of what I've learned so far. And also the OpenEmbedded and Yocto project are separate but similar, and it's all confusing backstory about it, but you can find that on the line somewhere. I actually went to last weekend in Amsterdam OpenEmbedded Developer Meeting. That I was just on the Wikipedia documentation page trying to find, just like learning about it, and it said, oh, you can it's for free, you just sign up and put your name on a waiting list in Amsterdam, and we'll provide lunch. So I said, oh well, might as well. And they emailed me maybe like a week before the event saying, oh, there's a slot open up, slot open up for you if you want to come. So okay. I just took the bus there and took the bus back. It's a bit of a long day, but it's not far from here, like 3-hour bus ride. So it was doable, cheaper than the hotel anyways. But yeah, so the event was cool though. Like, I didn't even know, but on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was Open Source Summit. So they have like, it's a Linux Foundation. It's a whole convention that was 3 days in Amsterdam. Tons of people were going there. And all these guys there were there for that and this. And I only knew about this. So I was like, oh, I didn't know. And then also on Thursday of the week, so yesterday, yesterday, they had Yocto Project Developer Meeting. And so again, they're a bit separate, but same. Whereas these are still separate than the Linux Foundation. So like the Open Source Summit, they have tons of things. And then these are these specific projects of it, of open source stuff. And anyway, so that was fun. I met a lot of people that were experienced developers in this, contributors, maintainers of the layers, and board members. So it was really nice, and everyone was really nice to me and like supportive. Oh yeah, we're always looking for younger people, and that was part of one of the main targets or thesis of is like, okay, how do we get younger people more interested in this? How do we get the next generation of developers? So it's, for me, it's exciting because that's me. I'm that guy. And but yeah, so I started looking into how to contribute to the software. And first of all, they use mailing lists instead of traditional PRs in a GitHub, or traditional to me. I mean, this is obviously would be older technology, but you can. And one of the main advantages is it's peer reviewed. So you sign up to a mailing list, and I signed up to a few of them just to like read them and try to get into it. And you can comment on it just by like replying to the email. They also have like a browser UI, but just straight to your email, and say, oh, that's good, bad. So it's peer reviewed, not just requesting a review from one person or maintainer. And and then you just like do the reviews, the code reviews through email. But before that, the workflow, where they have a contribution documentation site, is you just have to set up like a GitHub or your Git email. So it's like a Git send email, but you do the normal, you pull the repo, Git check out the branch that you want to, the original, starting branch, and then make a new branch, Git checkout -b my changes, make your changes, and then put commit and push with your comments. And you also have to like signature yourself, or like sign off from you. And then when you push it, you just do like git send and then put the email. That's how you do it instead of git push and then PR. So it's a bit weird, but I think like the actual workflow of it, of make your own branch, commit and push isn't so different. And of course the challenging part is like making the changes, in my opinion. I mean, from my situation, making the changes. And they also have a newcomers list of like issues. that actually found from, like, sent it from the mailing list. So it's just like a list of easier tasks and issues. So and check that out. And yeah, so I think like it's definitely sparked my interest in the software itself, since I was already wanting to learn more about it, as to build and develop these systems, develop these for these devices, because there's a high demand on it. I've already been in embedded area, and so yeah, it piqued my interest in it, or like it keeps me, and also has piqued my interest in being part of the community, trying to contribute, attending more meetings. They have like once a month happy hour online meetings that anyone can join, and yeah, so that's been so that's exciting. And yeah, so yeah, it's been a good experience meeting these people and connecting with them. I'll put the links to the documentation and the wiki pages for OpenEmbedded and Yocto in the description. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, bye for now.